I always will. So we will be with you in a minute as soon as the music stops. And here it comes.
KPFFLP, Pahrump, Nevada. Statements and opinions made on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its affiliates. Fighting corruption with Anthony Greco. Fighting government corruption, the real gangsters.
Greetings from the corrupt criminal enterprise we know as Nye County. I am Anthony Greco. Okay, support for KPFF is brought to you in part by Godfather Media, an internet service provider for the Pahrump Valley. Information and contact for Godfather Media is 877-PAHRUMP, 877-724-7867. I will not talk too much today. I have somebody who is a lot more important than I am. And this is Rebecca Wood, and the reason how I met her was through Facebook, and she's running for CD4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we were talking about, her run for office, and I didn't ask. I said to her, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Do you believe in the Constitution? She said yes. Then after that, she said, oh, and by the way, I'm a Republican too. So why don't you introduce yourself and go with it?
I'm Rebecca Wood. I consider myself a constitutionalist, not just a Republican, but a constitutionalist. And according to your intro, I'm a gangster.
Well, not yet.
I'm going to be.
And no, I don't think so. That's what we're trying to stop.
Fighting government corruption, right?
Right.
So that makes me a gangster if I'm going to fight it?
The government are the gangsters.
I wanted to be a good guy gangster.
Oh, okay. Well, I can send you to New York and introduce you to some people.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so why don't you give a little bit about your family background? I was very impressed about your family's service to our country.
My grandfather was in the Army. My dad was in the Air Force. He worked on the B-52 bombers on their radar systems. Mm-hmm. My husband was in the Air Force, and then he was a first responder with Clark County Fire Department. My son-in-law is with Metro. We have a family of first responders and a long line of veterans, a family that really loves their country and loves service to people.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess being that that's the situation, how you were brought up and live, you decided that you need to help this government get straightened out.
That's the goal.
Okay,
that's the goal. My dad was also a pastor. Mm-hmm. So I have a well-rounded family background. Mm-hmm. And one day, I was looking at my grandkids. I have a 14-year-old grandson. I have a 2.5-year-old granddaughter. And if we don't stand up for what's right, who will?
Right. Yeah, we have a big problem in here. I talk about it a lot. I just don't understand how these people, they talk about the Constitution and they're doing everything against it.
When it's pretty simple. It's outlined, it's black and white. What it says is the word that we need to live by for our country. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, the word is the word of God, the Bible.
Right.
But the Constitution needs to be our guideline. It doesn't need to be changed. We need to follow it. Mm-hmm. It's worked so far. This changing it now? No.
Exactly. And the thing I don't understand about what's going on in Congress is they just say stuff that they don't even have any documentation or anything, and they just turn around and make people try to believe what they're saying. I watched the investigation, and the other day with Congressman Adam Schiff, and he just laid out a summary of what he wanted the people to think was in that document on the phone call. And then he had to back off when I think it was Nunes.
Right.
Okay, he turned around and told him, Yeah. I watch all of that stuff. I've been political since I'm 16 years old, so, I didn't just throw myself in here and find out. I've been following everything. The same thing with Pahrump. I've been watching everything since I got here in '98. So, You know, I know a little bit about a background. We get a lot of new people here all the time, and they don't know people's backgrounds like the people from the beginning.
Right.
You know, and we have a lot of good people here, even in the government, and we have a lot of people that shouldn't be there.
Right.
And when I talked to you a couple of times on the phone, I felt very comfortable with you, and we think a lot alike.
Right.
So.
Well, the thing is, you know, anywhere in life, you're going to have your good guys, and everywhere you have them in churches, you have them in politics, you have them in, you have them in your family.
Exactly.
And that's something we have to learn to live with. My problem is, I feel like us as Republicans or constitutionalists and people who care, we've been quiet for too long.
Mm-hmm.
And the left has taken it and they've ran with it. And instead of taking it as a sign of strength, they take it as a sign of weakness. And when actually we're very strong people, but it's time for us to stand up and get vocal about what we believe.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping our Second Amendment rights, supporting our president.
Mm-hmm.
These are all issues that we have no business being quiet about. Killing 2,000 babies every day in this country by abortion. 2,000 a day. And they wonder what's wrong with the economy. We heard Abby Johnson speak the other night at the Celebration of Life banquet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she made a valid point. What's wrong with the economy? Maybe if those 2,000 babies a day had grown up and they would be productive members of society. You know, you can't say this is important and then negate life.
Right. They're turning around saying that we need immigrants to come here because we need help, you know, people, because the economy is good, we need more workers. Well, if they didn't kill all those babies, maybe we would have had them.
You know, I am all for legal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
100% for it. Our asylum laws need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
We need somebody to get in there and get those laws and make them workable. They're not workable the way they are. They're not beneficial to our country. They're not beneficial to our people. And that's a big issue with the immigration. They have to, the way it is now, you have to be in the country to apply for asylum. No, you need to be able to apply from your country.
Right. I think they're starting to change that a little bit. I think they're trying to keep them in Mexico until they get over here if they come from another place.
Right.
And the problem we're having right now is Congress just isn't doing anything but attacking the president. They need to get to work and start doing things. And if they're not going to do it, we have to replace people who are in there and get people who want to work. Listen, people didn't like Bill Clinton, but Newt Gingrich got them to work together. Okay, there was things that people didn't like Obama, some people did, but they tried to work together. They don't want to do anything. If they were all for border security before, but as soon as Trump started talking about it, they don't want it now.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want him to hit a home run. Well, if they don't let him get up to bat and do things, our whole country hurts. And Trump's willing to give them the credit on it, just let's get it done. You know, the reason why they don't like Trump is because he's not a globalist. Okay, and because he said it was a nationalist, they try to make him evil. And that's not what it's all about. I believe in our country first, and then if we could help. I always tell people, because I do a lot of charity work, and I always turn around and tell them, you need to take care of yourself first because you're number one, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help 2, 3, and 4.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're getting away from. This is nothing but a battle, and they forgot, Democrat and Republican, we're still Americans.
Absolutely.
That's the key thing.
We're all Americans. We're not black, white, Irish, English. You know, this is great. That's part of our heritage. It's where we came from. But in the end of the day, when you take off our skin, we're all Americans, period.
Exactly. And I always tell people I'm an American of Italian heritage. My grandparents were Italian. My parents were Italian-American, and I'm an American of Italian heritage. Because my generation's the first born here in my families. But they served in the military and all of that stuff. And I don't understand. My mother didn't become a citizen until just before I was born in 1955.
Well,
So she was here a while before she became a citizen, but they had all the documentation. And what her parents did was they would bring somebody over here, help them get on their feet, and then they had money to brought the rest of the family. They moved on, and then he would bring somebody else. And that's what we should still be doing today.
Absolutely.
That's the right way as far as I look at it. And you know, when people turn around and tell me, well, you don't, you're prejudiced, you don't like immigrants. How could they say that? My whole family's immigrants.
We all are, unless you're Native American.
Right.
And look what happened. Talk about the government, giving away oh, here, we're going to take care of you. It's okay. Look what they did to our Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
We have to be able to take care of ourselves. We have to be able to take care of America first, just like you said.
I think the Native Americans, Indians, because I know a lot, and they're called Indians, they don't have a problem with it. But it's that political correctness that lines everybody up. And you talk to a person, say, oh, you're Hispanic, but I'm Spanish, or I'm Puerto Rican, or I'm Mexican. Why shouldn't they be proud of their heritage?
Right.
Because it actually makes you who you are, and you take the good stuff with you and bring it to the United States, and you leave the bad stuff behind.
And you assimilate when you come.
Exactly.
You don't have to neglect your heritage,
Mhm.
but you assimilate into your new heritage.
Right.
That you can pass on to your family and say, look, this is where we came from. This is part of our history.
Mhm.
And you embrace it, but you need to assimilate and become American.
Right. And my family did that because the ones from Italy, because the Grecos are from Sicily and the Cosis are from Italy. So actually we had people in the family that didn't like the Sicilians because they supposedly, Sicilians are the only Caucasian that can get sickle cell anemia. So they looked down at the northern Italians looked down at the Sicilians.
Right.
So, but I would wish that this country would get back to the way we felt on 9/12. We didn't look at anybody's background. We didn't look. We were Americans, and we were together.
We were.
How do we do that again?
I wish I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to take a 9/11 or domestic tragedy for that to happen.
Exactly.
We have to learn to work together. We have to learn to create win-win situations. To say, I'm not going to work with this person because they're a Democrat, or I'm not going to work with this person because they're an independent or a libertarian. That's not the way it works. You need to learn to work together. You can come up, if we work and we get win-win situations, we'd be unstoppable. The problem, like you said, is our Congress is just stopping the president with immigration. Every other president, the bills have been approved, but not this time.
Right. I feel that the Democrat Party is destroying themselves because they're fighting so hard. All they could talk about is impeachment. I mean, I was watching programs, and they had Jerry Nadler from 1998, and they had Nancy Pelosi from 1998, and they were talking about the impeachment of Bill Clinton and how it would destroy. Jerry Nadler actually said impeachment will destroy the vote of the people. We shouldn't do it. Okay, but now all they want to do is get this guy out of office. And the problem with the Democrat Party, because I started out as a Democrat, my parents were Democrats, and I didn't become a Republican until I went into business, because I realized that these Democrats are not good for business. I think I better go on to the other side. And now I'm IAP, because I feel that the Republican Party, some of them have left me. And in this community, a lot of the people who run for office are really Democrats, but if they run the party line, because we have about 11,000 Republicans registered in Nye County and about 8,000 Democrats. So if the people just run the party line, if the Republicans are going to win. So that's why they do that. But there's a lot of people here that run for office that really are Democrats, which a real Democrat is not a bad person. It's the problem of the progressive people that are in a Democratic Party that is swallowing up the Democratic Party.
Right.
Okay, how many blue dog Democrats are there really left? Not many.
Not many.
Okay, and even Pelosi, AOC, and the other three are actually taken over and pushing them to be more progressive. And Pelosi doesn't want to know from the impeachment. Now she has to get on board because she's figured they're going to go after. Jerry Nadler is pushing for impeachment because he actually has somebody running against him on the Democratic side in the primary. So now he's worried. So he's got to jump all the way left that he could get to try to get the votes, because that's the way New York went. I'm from New York. I know. Where I came from, Staten Island is the Republican stronghold.
Scary.
And it's really bad. So
It is.
what else do you want to get accomplished when you become a congresswoman?
I want to give Nancy Pelosi a run for her money.
That's a real
I
good
want
thing.
to take on the squad.
Okay, good. Hopefully they're not there.
Hopefully they're not. Hopefully America has wised up and seen, look, this is crazy. We cannot keep on like this. It's going to destroy us. It's going to destroy our children. It's going to destroy our whole nation. We can't do that.
Did you see that Tlaib? She's AOC's friend there. She's the one with the glasses. And she actually had shirts made up for, T-shirts made up for her campaign. Impeach the MFer on her shirts that she's selling. This is not the way our political appointees or people that we vote for, our representatives, should be talking.
No, they shouldn't. You know, wanting any president to fail is wanting your country to fail. So I don't want any president to fail.
Oh, I didn't like
Because-
Obama, but I didn't want him.
But you don't want him to fail because that's wanting our country to fail. And we've went so far the opposite way that not only do they want him to fail, they're trying to force him to fail. This impeachment, there's no high crime. Impeachment needs to be so rare it's hardly even thought of, because it is such a powerful tool and they're abusing it.
Well, they're trying to overturn the vote.
Right.
And if they had some good candidates, I don't think they would have to impeach them, just beat them in the ballot box.
But they can't. They're afraid. They have no candidates.
Right. Yeah, the candidates are way out there.
Right? When you have all the candidates who every single one of them wants to take your guns, they support birthday abortion, they support after the child is born.
Yeah, that
Well,
bothers
let's keep
me.
it comfortable and then decide. Sorry, that is not acceptable, period.
Right. I'm at the point of, because I'm a constitutionalist, the woman has the right to turn around and have an abortion if she wants, but our tax dollars should not pay for it, because a person like me and you, our tax dollars should not pay for something we don't believe in. If there's a law saying they could do that, but I don't think we should pay for it, because it's our money and we're part of that we don't want to be part of.
Correct. Taxpayers should never be paying for abortion.
Right.
But if you're saying that that woman gets to choose, what about that woman or that man that's in her body? Where's their choice?
I know, and that's a big dilemma, but as a constitutionalist, I'm torn, because I think they have the right to do that, but I don't want to be part of it.
So, if life begins at conception, if life begins at 8 weeks after conception,
You're killing something.
you're killing something.
Yeah, you're killing a human being.
So,
Oh, it's even worse when they turn around and they're born and then they get a decision whether they want to do this or not. That's crazy.
so what if we took and we put a bill in Congress, which is one of my goals. These insurance companies, they pay for abortions, but they do not help with adoption. They do not help with infertility. They won't even pay for infertility treatment. So you're going to pay for an abortion, you're going to pay for infertility, and you're going to pay for adoption. Don't leave that baby laying on the table. You know what? There's families lined up to adopt who can't have children, who would make wonderful parents.
Exactly right. I don't understand how a doctor can even do that.
Do
It's
no
against
harm.
everything-
Isn't it against their Hippocratic oath?
Exactly right. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I still have to go back to my feelings and common sense.
Right.
And that's where we're getting away from. And we really need people in there to start going back to common sense, a little bit of common law,
Right.
okay, because I believe in a lot of that also. I'm not a sovereign citizen type person. I believe that I need a driver's license if I want to drive in the state
Right.
of Nevada. You need to have that. You need to have insurance, because if I hurt somebody by accident and I can't afford to do it, they have to be helped.
Right.
So, you know, I don't like insurance companies, I don't like banks, but sometimes you gotta have them.
Well, it's part of being part of a society.
There you go.
We have to, it's working together.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be part of society, you need to do these things that we do.
Mm-hmm. And when you're elected, you could work with Democrats on common sense issues.
I can.
Right.
Not only can I will, because you have to. You have to bring people together. We have to find ways to bring people together. Our nation is hurting, and we have to find a way to heal it and to integrate and to work together, create win-win situations. Granted, it cannot be done in every situation,
Right.
but there are many situations that can be done. We need to protect our rights. We need to have government out of our
Smaller government's
smaller
my
government.
favorite.
Do you know what was up before Congress? It was last week or the week before. A bill, in one of the bills was an article that they were going to ban baby bumpers. The crib liners, they went around, the old ones that weren't mesh, but they went around because kids can suffocate.
Okay, so they were gonna ban
So-
baby bumpers.
They're going to ban baby bumpers that go in cribs.
Now here's where I get crazy. You're gonna ban a baby bumper,
Because it
but you're
kills
gonna
babies.
allow them to kill a baby after it's born.
Bingo.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Okay, they either need to follow the direction that they're going and not look at these little ridiculous things, which anytime you're saving somebody's life, that's all well and good. But instead of doing that, why didn't they make the person who designed it to make a certain hookup where it can't be moved? Wouldn't that make it-
They do, but babies roll. It's just one of the many things where government is trying to come in and take control of our everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what Congress is forgetting is that they are there to represent their district. When I go to the House of Representatives, I love other states and other people, but my loyalty is to Congressional District 4.
Exactly.
My
right.
loyalty is to Nye County, to Clark County, to Esmeralda County, to White Pines County, to part of Lyon County, to all of the counties in our district. It's great, but that's where our loyalty lies. And when they're getting into Congress, they're forgetting that. They're not representing their people. I've lived here for 34 years. I've been married to the same person for 34 years. And you have to represent your people. I understand our district. I've been here. I've watched the growth in all the counties. You know, granted, some of them are still very small, but they're still exponential growth. Look at Pahrump. Look at our area of Clark. It's insane, the growth. And I remember when it was, you know, the roads that are now paved and you've got huge buildings that were desert.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have a unique perspective on our district because I've been here so long. I raised my babies in our district. I went through the struggle. Do we home